Hello, this is Breakfast with Charlie State and Susanna Reid.
No let up for the UK, with more torrential rain, gale force winds and tidal surges forecast for the weekend.
Good morning, it's Friday the 31st of January.
Also coming up this morning. Thanks very much. Good morning. First, our main story this morning. More weather misery is on the way for many parts of the UK, with warnings of flooding and coastal surges in the next 36 hours. Heavy rain is due across southern England today, with people living on the Somerset levels told their situation will get even worse.
Well, 30 flood warnings are in place. Strong winds, high tides expected to combine on the west coasts of England and Wales, potentially swamping already storm-battered sea defences. Ben Gagan reports.
Speak to you again later on.
It's 6:05. A fresh appeal hearing in Italy has reinstated the guilty verdicts against Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito for the murder of the British student Meredith Kircher in 2007.
Amanda Knox, who's in the US, and her Italian ex-boyfriend Sollecito had pleaded not guilty. Miss Knox was sentenced to 28.5 years in jail, while Sollecito received 25 years. The BBC's correspondent in Florence, Alan Johnston, reports. There are wide variations in the way rape cases are handled by police forces in England and Wales, according to new figures.
The Inspectorate of Constabulary claims that differences in the rate of recorded rapes suggest there's a culture of disbelief among some of the 43 forces covered by the data. The first round of the Syria peace talks will end in Geneva today, with little sign so far of any progress.
The US Attorney General, Eric Holder, says he'll seek the death penalty against the surviving suspect accused of carrying out the Boston Marathon bombing if he's convicted.
Wales has become the first part of the UK to offer a government-funded drug testing service which is open to the public. Applications to universities in the UK have risen, but men are less likely to apply than women, that's according to official figures.
And one other story for you. Have you ever had one of those days when you hear a snatch of a catchy song and you can't stop singing or humming it all day? It is called an earworm, and it can be very irritating.
Yes. New research, though, suggests there is a piece of music you can listen to which will dispel the earworm, and here it is. I feel like we should stand up, don't you? Scientists at the University of London have found that a rendition of God Save the Queen does act as a cure for a musical phrase which keeps repeating in the brain. So, if you've got, I don't know, da 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 da, then you listen to that. Can you hear it? I'm not very good at singing this time in the morning. And it's gone.
Doesn't work for me.
Well, you've still got that music in your head?
No, because this morning, oddly enough, I had the Madness song, Our House, in my head.
OK.
And that's
in the middle of the street.
Which is not a bad thing, actually.
No.
I mean, there could be plenty worse songs, but it hasn't gone.
Right.
Why was that? Did you have a dream?
There's no reason for it. I don't think I even heard the music. It's just there.
Right.
But on the basis of that scientific theory, that should be gone now, and it's not.
Isn't it?
Anyway.
Okay.
Don't you end up just humming?
That, I would have thought, was the probable outcome.
Which is good tune.
What have you got for us, Mike?
On transfer deadline day, but of course, if you're a fan of a club that normally sells their players on transfer deadline day, you dread it. And I just can't wait for 11 o'clock tonight and get to that moment with relief, hopefully with no more players sold. It's a day of contrasting emotions.
Are you going to tell us which club you're worried about?
Many times, Leeds.
Oh, of course.
So we're
yes.
worried about Ross McCallum. Whereas, of course, Manchester City, if you're a fan of those, who are you going to buy this time, isn't it? Or Crystal Palace. I think last time they signed 16 players in the last transfer window.
Yeah, not doing too badly on them.
Charlie, you're not left out of this conversation, are you?
Whatever happened to club loyalty? Why don't players stay at clubs?
Exactly, yeah.
Why don't they?
At Crystal Palace. And don't forget, you can keep right up to date with all the transfers. I've just done it, actually, the BBC Sport app on your mobile phone. And it'll just keep you up to date wherever you are with all the latest deals going through. Also, 5 Live and BBC Television later on. Dan Walker.
Your phone?
It is, but it's on silent. I'm just waiting to see any more transfers have gone through.
Just checking.
None as yet.
Mike, thank you very much. Let's have a look through some of the front pages for you. Many of the images this morning showing the military. Item here about Michael Schumacher, although this is not coming directly from the doctors.
Yeah. The Guardian this morning has the news there about Amanda Knox and reporting on this morning.
The front page of The Sun, hard to work out quite what's going on there.
Well, it's a brave attempt. Yeah. The Daily Mail this morning, there's more decades.
Morning, Dom.
Morning. When was the last time you paid by cheque? use the cheque?
Oh, I do sometimes. Yes.
You do,
yes.
Susanna?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Well,
Once a month, once a quarter? Not even?
Twice a month, maybe.
Well, OK. Well, personally, myself, with giving someone your bank details, I don't think you want to give your bank details to everybody. Sometimes.
What you mean on the cheque?
No, when you do a bank transfer, I don't think.
Oh, I see.
As
yes.
opposed to cheque, I'm always a little bit funny about that. So it seems as if not many people are using them anymore.
They're the ones that you sew on, are they?
Yeah, you sew them in.
Yeah.
And be 10 years or 15 years.
Did Cashes make the iron-on ones as well? Because I think that's part of the problem, isn't it? That people didn't have time anymore to sew them on and just want to.
It's a shame though, because it's lovely. I remember the feeling inside the school clothing.
No,
take
us right back now.
Dominic, thanks very much indeed. 19 minutes past 6.
You're watching BBC Breakfast from BBC News. Our main stories this morning. So we're all looking at the weather again today. Carol, looking ahead, I think the rain we're suggesting is going to start kicking off again today and all across the weekend as well.
That's right.